Deion Sanders didn't just raise an athlete, he raised an architect. The blueprint is called prime equity, and SHEDEUR Sanders is executing it to perfection. When Gatorade offered him $60 million, he chose legacy over luxury. He wanted more than a payday. He wanted control. And with 3% equity in Gatorade USA now in his hands, he's locked in on a future where he's not just sponsored.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
He's a stakeholder. It's a move that reflects not only strategic maturity, but a deep trust in the values his father instilled: self-worth, independence, and ownership. With every deal, SHEDEUR is showing what modern athletic leadership looks like. His Nike agreement, jersey sales revenue, EA Sports partnership, and $75 million Brady collaboration are no accidents. They're part of a larger machine. Despite going 144th overall, he's leading the league in market impact. And it's not luck, it's leverage. Every play off the field is mapped with precision. By blending financial foresight with athletic excellence, SHEDEUR is setting a new precedent. You don't need to be drafted first to finish first in life. So let's be clear right from the jump. This isn't about hype. It's not about social media followers, flashy press conferences, or a viral clip from preseason. This is about raw, calculated power moves. And SHEDEUR Sanders just made one of the boldest plays in NFL business history, before he's even played a regular season snap. Instead of grabbing a guaranteed $60 million endorsement deal from Gatorade, he went for the long game. He asked for equity, 3% of Gatorade USA. And he got it. Think about how wild that is. A rookie quarterback, taken 144th overall, passed on immediate multi-million-dollar cash to own a piece of a billion-dollar beverage empire. And this isn't some watered-down licensing arrangement. This is ownership, equity that grows, equity that multiplies with every bottle sold, every campaign launched, every expansion Gatorade makes. The kind of deal that could turn a fifth-round pick into a nine-figure stakeholder within a few seasons. Most rookies are just trying to stay on the roster. SHEDEUR's playing chess in a room full of people still figuring out checkers. This whole move? It's the physical embodiment of prime equity, the brand architecture developed with his father, Deion Sanders. That's the real cheat code here. Prime equity isn't just some cool-sounding phrase. It's a system, a legal framework, a structure built to protect athletes from the traditional money traps of professional sports. Through it, SHEDEUR keeps full control over his image rights, negotiates independently with brands, and walks away with 100% of the profits. No agent slicing off the top. No team demanding a cut. No brand telling him how to show up. It's just SHEDEUR and his terms. That setup is almost unheard of in the NFL, especially for a rookie. And this didn't start with Gatorade. SHEDEUR came into the league with a commercial resume that already rivaled seasoned veterans. The Nike contract alone was a head-turner, $125 million locked in before his first pro game. But it didn't stop there. He had a performance clause tied into the deal, and the moment he took the field for his first preseason appearance, the contract doubled to $250 million. One snap, and the deal flips. That clause was no accident. It was designed to reward visibility, not just wins. Because the people behind SHEDEUR understand that this era of sports isn't just about stats, it's about presence. About how you move, how you sell, how you command attention. And Nike was ready to pay accordingly. And while the traditional narrative has always been, you get drafted high, you get the best deals, SHEDEUR completely tore that to shreds. He was drafted 144th overall. That's not even a round people watch closely. And yet his jersey? Top seller. Not among rookies. Not for quarterbacks. Period. Over 375,000 jerseys sold before the regular season even started. More than the top picks. More than players who'd already been crowned the next big thing. And here's the kicker. SHEDEUR doesn't get a sliver of the profits. He gets half. 50% of every jersey sold with his name on it. That level of profit retention? No other player in the league has that deal. Zero. It's not just rare, it's unprecedented. This wasn't a lucky break. This was the result of leverage. SHEDEUR knew the value of his brand. He knew fans would buy, and he made sure the contract reflected that. From there, the dominoes started falling fast. A $75 million annual partnership with Brady. Not a one-off commercial. Not a campaign. An annual deal. That's the kind of long-term, locked-in income that most players don't even dream of mid-career, let alone as rookies. But SHEDEUR made it happen before his first touchdown pass. EA Sports came next. AT&T followed. And somewhere in the mix, he still found time to launch his own barbecue sauce line. Because sure, why not build out a consumer product vertical while rewriting the sports economy? None of these ventures were random. Every single one feeds the larger goal: build generational wealth, create a lasting legacy, and never be financially dependent on the game itself. Because here's the reality that SHEDEUR seems to understand better than most. The average NFL career is short. The injuries, the politics, the roster churn, it's brutal. If you're lucky, you play a few good seasons. If you're smart, you use that time to build something that outlasts your contract. SHEDEUR didn't wait for the league to define his value. He defined it himself. And now he's operating from a position most players never reach, even after a decade in the league. It's not just the deals, it's how they're structured. They're not payouts. They're partnerships. Equity-based, profit-sharing, performance-incentivized. They don't just compensate him, they scale with him. And the NFL world? They're watching this unfold in real time, trying to figure out how a fifth-round pick pulled this off. The answer? He didn't walk in trying to be a traditional rookie. He walked in with a brand that was already fully formed. He's part athlete, part executive, and fully in control. And that control is what's freaking people out. Because if SHEDEUR can do this, what happens when other players follow? What happens when future draft classes say, I want 50% of my merch sales, or give me equity, not a flat fee, or I'm retaining my image rights? The business side of a league isn't set up for that. Not yet. But it's coming. This isn't just a SHEDEUR Sanders story. It's a wake-up call. A warning to the old guard that the new generation is coming in informed, prepared, and ready to negotiate like executives. They don't want a seat at the table. They want to own the table, the room, and the real estate it sits on. And let's not ignore what this means culturally. For decades, athletes, especially young black athletes, have been the engine of billion-dollar industries without ever touching ownership. They were marketed, sold, and commodified, all while rarely benefiting from the full value they created. SHEDEUR's changing that. He's not a product. He's a partner. It's a different energy. And now, with that Gatorade deal locked in, his stake in the future is more literal than ever. Gatorade isn't some boutique brand. It's one of the most dominant players in global sports marketing. Even a small stake in that machine is worth more than some careers. 3% sounds small, until you realize Gatorade pulls in billions every year. That stake over time could easily make him the youngest billionaire in NFL history, while he's still on the field. And that's not a pipe dream. That's a calculated projection backed by the numbers. So what we're seeing now is more than a brand-building moment. It's a paradigm shift. Athletes are becoming investors. Endorsers are becoming shareholders. And SHEDEUR Sanders is standing at the front of that line, showing everyone how it's done. He didn't break into the NFL looking for validation. He came to change the rules. And if the current pace is any indicator, he's just getting warmed up. So now it's your turn. What do you think of SHEDEUR's next-level moves? Is this the future of professional sports, or is he just an outlier? Drop your thoughts below. Share this with someone who still thinks draft order equals value. And hit that subscribe button if you're here for the drama, the shakeups, and the deals that have the whole industry rattled. SHEDEUR Sanders didn't stumble into these deals. He didn't get lucky. He came into the game with a business plan more polished than some front offices. And he's executing it with precision. Let's look again at the deal that started all this noise, the Gatorade offer. Most athletes, especially rookies, would have jumped at a $60 million check. 3 years, guaranteed money, legacy brand. On paper, it looks like a dream. But SHEDEUR? He looked at that and said, thanks but no thanks. Why? Because $60 million over 3 years is a cap. It's fixed. You take the deal. You know exactly how much you'll make, no matter how big your impact gets. No matter how many bottles sell with your face on the label. No matter how viral the campaign goes. The brand wins, and you get your slice. SHEDEUR flipped it. He didn't want a slice. He wanted a seat at the table. With 3% equity in Gatorade USA, he didn't just sign on as a spokesperson. He became an owner. And that means when Gatorade grows, when it enters new markets, drops new product lines, or locks in global partnerships, he profits. Not just once. Every time. That's wealth that scales. That's generational. And what makes it all more incredible is that he made this move with zero leverage in the traditional sense. He wasn't a #1 draft pick. He wasn't the media's golden child. He didn't come in with a national championship or a Heisman. He came in with a brand that was already operating at a higher level, and a deep understanding that your draft position doesn't define your value. Your vision does. Now let's talk about how rare that is. Because SHEDEUR isn't just exceptional among rookies. He's doing things that veteran superstars don't even attempt. Most top-tier athletes, after years in the league, still don't have this level of control over their image rights. They still don't have this kind of equity in the companies they endorse. They still don't walk away with 100% of the profits. But through the prime equity model, SHEDEUR walked into the league already in that position. And the prime equity model? It's not fluff. It's a structured, protective system. Created by Deion Sanders, who's not just a Hall of Famer, but a master of media, branding, and timing. Deion understood the game behind the game, and he passed that knowledge to his son. But SHEDEUR didn't just absorb it, he scaled it. That's why he's not just surviving in this space. He's dominating it. Let's go back to the jersey sales. Because that stat still turns heads. Over 375,000 jerseys sold preseason. Think about that. Before a single real game. Before a touchdown. Before a stat sheet. That level of demand? That's not hype. That's brand power. And that 50% cut from jersey sales? It defies the NFL's entire merchandising model. Typically, jersey profits go to the team, the league, and then a tiny fraction trickles down to the player. It's always been that way. But SHEDEUR said, if I'm driving the sales, I want a real cut. And somehow he got it. You can't overstate how radical that is. Not because it's flashy, but because it rewrites precedent. And when you rewrite precedent, everyone downstream benefits. Because now other players, rookies, and vets alike, can point to SHEDEUR's deal and say, why don't I have something like this? That's leverage. Not just for him, but for the entire athlete economy. And while most players hope to land a commercial or two in their rookie year, SHEDEUR walked in with deals from Nike, Gatorade, Brady, AT&T, EA Sports, and his own consumer product brand. That barbecue sauce line isn't a gimmick. It's a foothold in the food industry. It's shelf space. It's manufacturing. It's distribution. It's a whole vertical. He's building a business empire while learning an NFL playbook. And apparently doing both without missing a beat. And here's what makes all of this even more significant. The deals are structured for longevity. The Nike Performance Clause proved that. The moment he took the field for preseason, the deal doubled. That clause wasn't based on touchdowns or MVP votes. It was built around visibility. It was structured to reward impact. That's where the real innovation lies. Not just signing big deals, but architecting them so they evolve as you evolve. So you don't just cash in now, you keep winning later. That's what separates SHEDEUR from everyone else. He's not just collecting checks. He's scaling. And then there's the $75 million annual partnership with Brady. That figure alone is almost absurd, but it's real. And it reflects exactly what brands see in him. Not just a football player, but a brand executive with cultural pull. Someone who moves product. Someone who commands audience. You can't fake that. And you know what this tells us? That the modern athlete is changing. Fast. SHEDEUR is proof that being drafted isn't the start of your value. It's the continuation of it. He didn't wait for permission to monetize. He came in fully monetized, fully branded, fully operational. And when that level of business awareness collides with talent and presence, it creates a new kind of athlete, not just the face of the franchise, the face of the movement. SHEDEUR's journey is a warning shot to the traditional sports business model. Because this new model, the ownership-first, image-rights-secured, brand partnership-driven model, isn't going away. It's growing. Every player watching this unfold is learning in real time that the old way isn't the only way. You don't have to trade your name for exposure. You don't have to sign away your likeness to survive. You can be the product and the owner. You can play the game and run the business. And as these deals start adding up, equity in Gatorade, a $250 million Nike deal, massive performance clauses, merchandise profit, a food product line, high-level tech and telecom partnerships. It's no longer about what SHEDEUR might become. It's about what he already is. A 21-year-old athlete with a commercial blueprint more advanced than most sports agents. A fifth-round pick who's already reshaped the league's understanding of marketability. A rookie with billionaire projections, real ones, backed by financial models, not fantasy. And the scariest part for his competition? He's just getting started. We've seen flashes of players controlling their narrative, pushing for better deals, demanding fairer structures. But SHEDEUR took it to another level. He systemized it. He turned it into a framework. He weaponized business intelligence the same way he would a blitz read. And now, he's winning both games. So what's next? More equity? More verticals? A media company? Real estate? Who knows? But the one thing that's crystal clear, he's not waiting for anyone else to tell him what's possible. He's already showing what's next. And whether you're watching from the boardroom or the bleachers, this moment, it's historic. Because SHEDEUR Sanders just showed an entire generation how to take control. Not just of their career, but of their value. And let's not pretend the NFL is clapping from the sidelines. This isn't the kind of rookie storyline they like to package and sell. SHEDEUR Sanders isn't the quiet underdog waiting his turn or the wide-eyed kid humbled by the draft board. He's a walking disruption, confident, calculated, and in control. He's not fitting into the machine. He's challenging the way the machine even runs. Because here's what SHEDEUR really did. He exposed the cracks. Cracks in the endorsement model. Cracks in rookie contract dynamics. Cracks in the myth that draft position equals power. Cracks in the idea that players are only valuable when they perform on the field. SHEDEUR proved you can redefine value based on how you leverage attention, not just how many yards you throw. And that scares the system, because systems thrive on predictability. The league knows how to deal with rookies hungry for a chance. It doesn't know what to do with a 21-year-old who just walked in with one of the most forward-thinking business portfolios in professional sports. Think about how tightly controlled NFL narratives usually are. Players toe the line, talk about the team, deflect business questions. Not SHEDEUR. His business is the conversation. It's the headline. And not just because of the dollar signs, because of the structure. A fifth-round pick doesn't usually have the freedom to call shots. But SHEDEUR isn't waiting for Pro Bowl honors to justify his presence. He's already negotiated deals that most of the league can't even ask for. And when you're a brand before you're a starter, you force the world to deal with you on your terms. Every time someone scoffs at his draft position, they're missing the point entirely. SHEDEUR doesn't need a top 10 pick to validate him. The numbers already do that. $250 million from Nike. $75 million annually from Brady. 50% cut on the best-selling rookie jersey. A 3% stake in a brand that sits in every gym, stadium, and convenience store in America. At some point, people have to stop asking, is he worth it? And start asking, how did he pull this off? Because that's the real story here. Not if he can throw a perfect spiral under pressure, but how he managed to secure one of the most aggressive, player-first business infrastructures we've ever seen. The league wasn't built for that. It was built to take the rights, shape the brand, and control the message. The player just plays. Endorsements are handled through agents. Brand deals get filtered through the team. And everything comes with a clause that favors the corporation. But SHEDEUR's deals are clean. No middlemen. No team overrides. He negotiates directly. He keeps the profits. He keeps the control. That level of autonomy is rare. That level of foresight? Almost unheard of. And look, it's easy for people to get caught up in the big names, Gatorade, Nike, Brady. But the real power move is how none of these partnerships are vanity deals. They're structured to scale. His stake in Gatorade will grow with time, not shrink. His Nike contract escalates based on appearance milestones. His apparel revenue is tied directly to actual sales, not projections. This isn't just branding. It's revenue modeling. And that's what sets SHEDEUR apart. He understands that the real money doesn't come from being in the ad. It comes from being part of the business behind it. Most athletes are taught to cash in early, stack up endorsement money while they're still relevant, and then coast. But SHEDEUR is stacking assets. His brand is earning while he sleeps, while he trains, while he studies film. The numbers don't pause when he's off the field. And if he plays well, that just accelerates the whole machine. But even if he doesn't have a breakout season, his deals don't fall apart. They're designed for sustainability. That's the key. Everyone talks about generational wealth, but few players have an actual strategy for it. SHEDEUR's not just putting money aside. He's building a diversified portfolio. One rooted in ownership, licensing, long-term brand equity, and direct profit sharing. That's how billionaires are made. It's why analysts are looking at this Gatorade move and projecting that SHEDEUR could be the youngest billionaire in NFL history while still an active player. Not after retirement. Not after launching a second career. During. That's never been done. And before anyone says he hasn't done anything yet, let's not forget, what he's done off the field already changed the playbook. Athletes used to need rings and MVP titles before they had leverage. SHEDEUR walked in with leverage already in hand. And that's what's blowing minds across the industry. Because what do you do when a fifth-round rookie is moving like a Fortune 500 CEO? When the face on the billboard owns part of the brand that printed it? When every piece of merchandise tied to his name pays him real profit, not scraps? The league is used to players being employees. SHEDEUR's walking in as a business partner. And if you think this stops at Gatorade, think again. The blueprint is out now. Other brands are already watching. Other athletes are already paying attention. College stars, nil veterans, incoming rookies. They're all seeing what's possible. This isn't just a moment. It's a shift. And with Deion Sanders primetime himself as the mentor and architect behind it all, you better believe this is only the beginning. Prime equity isn't just a one-off gimmick. It's a system built to scale. So yeah, some folks are uncomfortable. They're saying SHEDEUR is too flashy, too business first, not paying his dues. But maybe that's the point. The old-school version of paying dues meant staying silent, following orders, hoping for a decent contract by year 3. But this new model? It's about paying yourself. First. Fully. With no apology. Because when the dust settles, it won't be about which rookie had the most touchdowns. It'll be about who changed the business. And SHEDEUR is already at the center of that conversation. So let's keep it real. The next time you hear someone brush him off because of his draft number, remember this. That number didn't hold him back. It freed him. It gave him the space to build a new identity. One not defined by team expectations, but by his own terms. And if that makes people nervous, good. Because this league needed a shake-up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are we seeing the future of athlete branding right now? Or is SHEDEUR just a one-of-one? Hit that like button if you respect the business game. Share this with someone who still thinks endorsements are just about commercials. And don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be here breaking down every twist, every power move, and every behind-the-scenes bombshell from the world of sports, celebrity, and chaos.